please join me in welcoming Mr. Mustafa Njai to give us his take on the business environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Benjamin. And without going through the protocols again, thank you for joining us today to deliberate on some of these very important topics. I will tell you, I didn't prepare a text as such. Me, I'm a builder. I don't do what you do. I make things happen. So I was just looking at the folder that I was working on yesterday with some facts so we can work on this, on positively how we can just move ahead. And in this deliberation, since I'm the first speaker, I would want to appeal to everybody that let us be positive. Let us not start any blame game here. I would rather us look at what we can do to positively change the business environment. And in doing so, simply we all know that in anything that you do in life, in any industry, you are ranked. There is a body that ranks anything that you do, be it, let's say, sports, for example. FIFA ranks all the nations, coming down all the way to the African level, our regional level. So you are ranked, and everybody wants to be ranked at the very top. It's a very competitive world. And today, in the business environment, we are ranked the most, reliable ranking body is the World Bank. And the World Bank rank all the nations, and they give out reports. And every year, reports are giving, and then countries are ranked. So I will just start by just, referring you to the World Bank Business Ranking Report for last year, 2018. And then let's now look at where we were last year and this year. And I will tell you, if you haven't looked at this, last year, 2018, the Gambia was ranked about 123 or 125. What is important that we have dropped? We have dropped 3 points. Instead of moving up, we are dropping. Now let us compare ourselves with other African countries and see what they're doing. Where are the countries that are doing well? Because we belong not only to this globe, but to the continent and then the sub-region. All of us as countries, we look out for investors, foreign or local direct investments. And these are some of the facts that they will look into to put their money in there. And we all need this. So I would want to highlight, for example, a country like Djibouti. I looked at 2018 and 2019. Djibouti jumped about almost 50 points. 50 points. From 154, they were around 154 in the globe, and today they are 99. And then Mauritius has always topped the list. Actually, I had all this written and analyzed, but unfortunately I left it at home. I was rushing coming. And then Rwanda. Rwanda has maintained number 2 in Africa, because what I did was I looked at the globe. If you look at the ranking, it's at the global level. But then I tried to analyze at the African level, which are the countries that are doing well. So Rwanda is improving at the global level, but has maintained its ranking at the African level. There are 10 countries actually that have improved, their ranking. Senegal is one of them. Ghana is one of them, But instead, we are dropping down. So what I think we need to do as a country, and that's why I asked for a flipboard. I like writing. As we continue with our deliberation, because I think it should be interactive. So let us not start blaming, the government didn't do this, that's why they did this, So please, in our deliberation, let's try and come up on positive things and what we think we should do to improve our ranking. And once we improve our ranking, seriously, we will see inflows coming in. As an investor, we've invested in different countries, and that's what we look for. Now, the first thing that you would do is you do a SWOT analysis, which is the strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats. So I think as a country, how we're going to do it, I think this body needs to come out with suggestions that, look, we think between the public and private sector, these are the things that we need to do. Let us first address what our weaknesses are, what our strengths are as a country. I'm not going into detail. Maybe we'll discuss it as the deliberation goes on. Then two, what our weaknesses are. These are realities. You cannot play around with it. Don't go around, for example, when they do investment promotion, telling you, oh, the Gambia, yes, we are small in nature by 2 million, but we have access to a 450 million sub-region. Why do I need to come to Gambia if I'm heading to Nigeria? I might as well land in Lagos. So please, those are the things that we should not be saying anymore, because we are not accessible. So that's a weakness. One of our weaknesses, we are small as a size. In size, we are only 2 million. So that's a weakness. But at times you can capitalize on your weakness to make it a strength. But I will leave it to the floor to discuss it. Then, what are the opportunities? We know we are very strong in tourism, leisure, so services. So we had a biggest disappointment, I'm sure all of us here, about 2 weeks ago, when we found out from far that it wasn't what we thought. So that's an opportunity that we lost. Then the threats, what the threats are. So I think in these discussions, that's what I would like us to see. And then once we've done this, I have learned recently from some journalist training that we need to apply the 3 W's and an H. I guess some will know what this means. What is it? What is it we're discussing? We're discussing about our business environment. So that's what the first W, I guess, should be. But we can discuss and agree on it. Then, when we need to now have a target. Our target is probably, let's say, in the next 1 year, let's have a target that, look, we want to be ranked, since we are 128 or so, 129, let's target at least being ranked 100. We have to have a target. Anybody who doesn't have a target or doesn't have a vision in anything you do in life, you're starting in the wrong footing. So I think by the time we get out of here, I think we should resolve that, look, we want to be by next year at this ranking. Then the second one is where? That's the ranking, actually. The last one is how we are going to do it. How we are going to do it, if I deliberate a bit further, I think at the level of the chamber, we had engaged a consultant who had worked for the World Bank. That's Mr. Barry. That, look, probably if we go into very little details on how to improve our business environment, we'll be ranked higher. So, as a start, I was asked to speak for 5 minutes. I love to respect a time. And since it's going to be interactive, I think that's where I would like to stop. I don't want to start going into details. I beg that let's not start blaming government. Let us not have a divider in this room here. Blaming the government, and the government start blaming the private sector. But let us collectively, as a country where we are today, look at solutions that can move us in our business ranking. So I will not go into details, because if we go into details, I will tell you of how I find it difficult to get the land, and then how I was trying to get financing, and we've had that over and over and over again. I am glad and happy that the hall look full. So on that note, Mr. Moderator, thank you very much, and my fellow panelists. And obviously, I will take questions as we move on, and hope that we can deliberate positively and finish on time. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Ben. I guess I think it's been interesting, but I'll just go back to the different points that were deliberated by the various contributors, starting first with Mr. Njai Papa about business reform. I am not here to give you the answers. Actually, I think some of us know, we all know the answers already. But what I think the problem is that there is an agency, or there are agencies, that has been established by Act of Parliament. So today in this country, when it comes to investment promotion or anything to do with investment, the one stop is at GAIPA. But what we saw in the last regime, that it was hijacked by the president's office. And there's been a continuation. So really, Our point here should be that how do we influence positively to change this? To say it out loud, to do whatever is necessary as business operators, that look, we need to have a one-stop shop. I think the job has been done already. Like if you want to do any business in this country, the place to go is to GAIPA. And everything has been well stipulated there in terms of investment codes, incentives, everything is there. So again, on how we should do it, I'll fast track and come to Ben's point, that we need to probably work on, I love using influencing, because at times we are limited on what we can do, to influence the coordinating body. We need to be recognized. I think recently government established some committee of doing business, and the main players, the main players, that is us, the private operators, we are not well represented. So these are the things I think we need to come out of here. Whatever has been said here, I will not really go back on all these points, but we need to find a way of being relevant. That will again probably involve the youth, local content, which the president will talk about. But I think for me, that's the takeaway I would like to see from here. That how and when do we establish, a coordinating body where we are relevant? We saw recently in Senegal, for example, I don't know whether you saw it, the local big business players like the Sedimas, the Yusundurs, and others, they came together actually as a force, as a very strong lobby. Had a meeting with the president to show them who they were and what they contribute in the economy, and that they want to be recognized. Then they went around, actually, they didn't even stop there. They went out to all, in Senegal, religion contributes a lot. So they went to all the Halifas. But in essence, all they were trying to do is to make sure that as local players and for who they represent, they must be taken on board. My friend FJP, I agree with you on the long-term planning, but I want to generalize in Africa. It's very difficult in Africa to plan beyond a political term. So for me, as an investor, and I've seen this over and over again, as an investor, I would like to tackle things on a quick fix. What can we do? Simple things that we can do to improve, whether it's done by the World Economic Forum or the World Bank, but just to improve our business ranking, regardless of which institution uses it or the parameters being used. So I would just close by aligning myself with Ben, the moderator, that we need to find a body. We need to come out of this hall today and say, look, the Chamber of Commerce, as the voice of the private sector, we must be in these decision-making bodies. We're happy that the National Business Council, has been formed, and we're having our inaugural meeting on Saturday, and this is really high level. We've got the president should chair it, together with 5 ministers and 5 members of the private sector. So I hope whatever we can get from here, probably it will help to form part of our agenda. So on that note, I thank you very much again. Thank you.